Okay, we're going to go ahead and get, ooh, are you okay?
This part. Yeah.
You good? Going to go ahead and get started. Ms. Morgan, will you please call roll?
Chair Langley,
Here.
Here. Here.
Here. Okay, a quorum is established. I'm glad to see you all today. We do have some minutes from September 22nd, 2016 to approve. Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Is there, okay, a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and these minutes are approved. We have one order of business today, a certificate of appropriateness for 119 First Street, Robert and Rachel Riddle petitioners. Presuming, yes, if you'll go ahead and sign in, Mr. Riddle, we will go ahead and get started with that. Glad to see you, Mr. Duke. Is Joshua trick-or-treating?
Anywhere.
Is Joshua out there? Okay. Come on up, Mr. Riddle. We're glad that you're here today. What we'll do is give you the opportunity to present what you are requesting here today, and then we'll have you to take a seat, and Mr. Duke will come give us a staff report, and then we'll have the opportunity for questions.
Very good.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak here today to discuss the property at 119 First Street, which is also known as the Slayton House. If y'all are familiar with it, it's just around the block right there. I am going to move my law practice there starting in January, and so, but want y'all to know that I actually purchased the property because I actually really thought a lot of the historic nature of the building, and so that's certainly something that's important to me, and that was kind of a driving force with regard to me purchasing the property. Concerning the proposed alterations or additions that I would like to do, currently on the back end of the property there is a covered porch. It's got a set of steps coming off the back of it. What I would like to do is to enclose that particular porch so as to give me a little bit more room within the building. And so what I would propose to do would be to keep the same look as far as how it currently looks today. I have discussed with John Threlkill handling the work for me. He would propose using wood lap siding to enclose in the back porch, and that's the actual material that's there today. So it would certainly match the existing structure. The other alteration that I would propose as it concerns this commission would be the doors as they currently sit are solid wood doors, front doors, yeah. And so it's safety for my staff is important to me, and the way my office would be set up, I would have a receptionist there in the front common area, and it would be important for me for her to be able to see who comes to the door. From time to time, we do have to lock doors in our law practice. So would certainly like to take those doors out, and what I propose is to replace those doors, and everything about the doors would be the same with the exception of the doors that are currently on there basically have square wooden panels. And the doors that I would get made, they'd have to be custom made just due to the odd size of the doorway. The door frame itself would stay the same, but I would just simply create doors, and where there's the solid panels now, those would then be glass panels. And so that would be really the only change. The only thing else would be just there's some rotten wood on the front porch there, and would just like the opportunity to take some of the wood that's rotten there and replace it with new wood.
Okay, great. Thank you. And we'll have Mr. Duke to come up, but don't go far.
Okay, I won't. Thank you.
Hello, Mr.
Hey, good
Duke.
afternoon. Apologize for running just a tad late this
That's all
afternoon.
right, thank you.
Too many meetings in the day, so.
And a lot of children in the way, on the way over here, too. Not in the way, that sounds rough, doesn't it?
Oh, ma'am. As you stated, and as Mr. Riddle stated, you have a request for a certificate of occupancy at 119 First Street. This is the second certificate of occupancy for that location. Previously, a sign was approved for the exterior of the building. This house is not, this is not the original home of the Slayton House. Slayton House was moved there basically in the I think early, around 2000 by the Ottawa County Heritage Association from a location off of Simmons Road. So, but it has been basically restored in the federal early neoclassical style, and is a very good representation of that period. So we, other than it not being in its original location, it's a good contributing structure to the district. So it needs to be looked at in that way. I believe that what's being proposed by Mr. Riddle is consistent with your guidelines. If you just look at additions, that's going to be on page 40 of your residential guidelines, and that's been reprinted in your staff report. Looking at an addition that doesn't cause any real changes to historic walls, what's proposed by what's drawn and presented to you, the existing window inside, the existing door inside would be, I believe, maintained. I'm not sure if that appears to be the case with the drawings. And your guidelines call for making connections to an addition by way of existing openings. So the change also has limited visibility from the street. Materials are compatible, if not matching, and it is basically a simple addition. So it does meet your guidelines. As far as the door, the only thing I would ask is that you get some clarification on the appearance of the door, and Mr. Riddle and I were just briefly chatting about that. I think if you look at your guidelines that are reprinted with the staff report section on doors, you have examples of some that have glass in the upper portion, and I believe that those are good representations of what he's trying to do. The only thing I would ask is that the doors that are there now be preserved and kind of put back so they could be possibly reinstalled if someone wanted to in the future. So
Any questions for
other than that,
Mr. Duke?
I'm sorry. Other than that, I
I'm
think it's a
sorry.
great project.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Duke. Okay, Mr. Riddle, if you don't mind coming back up, we give you a good workout when you're here before us. And make yourself available if there are any questions from the commission at this time. Are you having a back access door to this addition?
I will.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And what do you anticipate it, will it have windows in it as well? Do you talk about that in here and I missed that?
Yeah, I believe, let me look. Yeah, and I kind of take that back. I don't think there would be a window on, there'll only be really one spot for a window, and I'm not going to put a window there.
No,
so-
I meant glass in the doors.
Oh,
you
glass
know.
in the doors?
Yes,
Oh,
that's
on
what
the
I
back-
meant.
on the
Yes,
back addition?
Yeah, yes, on the back addition.
No, ma'am.
What that, okay.
No,
Okay.
no, ma'am.
Okay, there you go. That's
Okay.
what I was asking.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No. I was not clear with my verbiage.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
Are the doors that are there strong and sturdy doors?
On the front,
Yeah, I mean,
Ms. Kirkpatrick, I would not classify them as sturdy. The doors themselves are strong and sturdy, but the way they kind of come together, it's got a really odd, what I call a locking mechanism, but as I understand it, that's just the way it was done. So when you walk up to the door, I mean, they rattle and shake, if that makes sense. But now,
I
the
mean,
doors themselves, the integrity of the doors they're strong and sturdy.
we do not have a picture of the doors themselves, do we, in this packet. Yeah, but you can't really see. How many panels are there in those doors?
There's what I would call three.
3 levels of.
Yes, ma'am. And what Mr. Duke and I were discussing, and I didn't do a good job at explaining this, and you'll just have to forgive me. I'm not real good at trying to sort all this out either. But basically, the bottom part of the door, where I would call like the bottom 2 panels, those would not be glass. So it would be very similar to the pictures that Mr. Duke just kind of referenced. 'Cause I believe y'all have pictures in your manuals.
We do,
And so
we do.
probably, I would say 2/3 of the door would have the glass panels, and then the bottom part's still going to continue to be a solid surface.
And you would modify the existing doors.
Well, I will remove those doors.
Oh, remove those, okay.
Just the
that
doors,
was my
not the door
question.
frame.
Okay.
And certainly don't have a problem with agreeing to preserve those doors, as Mr. Duke suggested, in the event someone later wanted them.
They would be totally replaced.
I just wondered if you were gonna have any kind of design on the bottom, the wooden part, any, like the picture we have here, it's got some,
Can I approach?
it's gonna be a flat. Didn't know if you,
Exactly like they look now. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think it's a good idea. One time I'd actually talked about donating them to the city or someone, but whatever we need to do to make sure they're kept and preserved, I'm happy to do that. There you go. Perfect. I'll deliver them. How about that?
All right, are there any other questions? Mr. Smith, you're awfully quiet down there.
I did the drawings and I made money on the drawings. So I'm good.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, thank you, Mr. Smith. Okay, he really likes them, that's right. Okay, if there are no further questions, then you can have a seat. And is there a motion to be made in this request? We're treating it as one currently. We've not done anything.
No division.
No division. Is that correct, Mr. Duke? Okay.
I move that we grant certificate of appropriateness at 119 First Street for the rear porch to be remodeled and the front doors replaced, as we discussed.
Okay, is there a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and it has been approved. So, there you go. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. What? You're excused. Thank you for coming. We look forward to the changes. Good luck. Bye-bye. Okay, Mr. Duke, if you don't mind, would you approach and just, we have approved the minutes, I think maybe before you walked in. I'm not sure if you were here or not. I don't see any other further new business today. Okay, is there anything that we need to discuss while you're here today?
No, ma'am, I have no other business now.
Okay, all right. Is there a motion to adjourn then at this time? Is there a second? Okay, now, you're not on the agenda for today, and in order for us to have had a quorum today, I had to stop an appointment that I had, and I know Mr. Barrett has stopped something that he has, so we are on a schedule today. So I'm sorry, but we're not going to be able to do this today. Right, but yes, yes, all of that can be, yes, we're not really involved in that process, so you can talk to Ms. Morgan once we adjourn, and she will be happy to help you to figure out that process, and then we will meet again in a few weeks in November, which that's probably something we need to discuss, and then we will be able to do that at that time, okay? Yes, Mr. Duke, I'm sorry.
And we do need to discuss your
Yes.
November meeting because it is basically Thanksgiving.
Okay, would it be a possibility that we check on maybe the 15th or the 17th?
The 17th, we have a planning commission meeting right before that, but.
Would we need to adjust our time?
Should be fine.
Okay. Okay,
If that meeting runs an hour and a half, I would be astounded. Okay.
okay. So can we look at our schedules and see what the 17th looks like at 4:30? Okay. November 17th at 4:30.
Basically, that's just a week earlier than
Yeah.
regular meeting.
So, Ms. Morgan, if you don't mind, will you send out an email just to verify whenever we get home and check those calendars as well? But it looks like that November 17th will work for all of us.
I don't have my manual iPad with
His pen and his notebook and pen. All right, is there a motion to adjourn? Somebody's made the motion, and we approved it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and we are adjourned.